Good afternoon, everybody. David Shuster here on Take Action News. A fascinating piece of legislation introduced this week by none other than Republican Senator John McCain. The bill is called the Television Consumer Freedom Act, and it would essentially provide incentives that would give both cable operators and television networks. It would essentially encourage them to let all of us, cable consumers, would let all of us choose which channels we want in our subscription. Right now, for example, whether you watch ESPN or not, part of your cable bill includes $5 that you have to pay in order for ESPN to be on your cable system. $5 per subscriber. And that's whether, and that's just ESPN. There's Fox News. There's also all sorts of other channels that you also have to pay for right now in your bill, regardless of whether you watch them or not. Well, John McCain wants all of us to have something known as an a la carte option. And here he is explaining exactly what that is on the Senate floor.
Capability, in other words, not required to buy a whole bunch of channels that consumer may or may not consumer may not wish to subscribe to. In other words, a la carte.
The bundling system that we have today, where you pay $50, $75, or $100 for all kinds of channels, many of them that you don't watch, that is essentially a rigged system. And McCain has pointed out, as have a lot of consumer watchdog groups, that prices have skyrocketed over the last 10, 15 years because of this rigged industry, this sort of anti-capitalism system that we have right now, where you're forced to buy a lot of things that you don't want. And if you want your channels that you do want, well, you have to pay whatever the cable channels are going to charge you. There's John McCain talking about how cable prices went up about 15 years ago. The average was $25 a month. Now, most Americans, the average is more than $50 a month. Here again is Senator McCain.
That is 100% price increase. People are on fixed incomes. People are hurting. Why in the world should they have 100% cost increase, and the only way it can be done is through monopolies?
The only way it can be done is through monopolies. Well, part of what's going on here is that there are the popular channels like ESPN or Discovery, and in order for a cable operator, Time Warner, your local cable company, to carry those channels, they are also forced by the producers, whether it's Comcast or Viacom or Time Warner, to essentially also carry some of the less popular channels. You got that? So in other words, Time Warner, which owns CNN. In order for your cable company to make sure that you have CNN on your channel choices, that cable company also has to take some of the lesser known cable channels, maybe such as Time Warner or maybe such as Turner or Turner Kids, some of the programs you may not watch. And again, the whole idea here is to enable you consumers, all of us, to pay exactly for what we're watching and not have to pay for what we don't want.